Hey guys, what's up? This recent TikTok controversy that has popped up in the past week or so has me pretty freaked out because this is one of the biggest examples I've seen on the internet of people promoting just straight up misinformation. And the fact that so many people are willing to just believe whatever they read on TikTok just because someone said it somewhere in a TikTok comment section is very concerning. Hundreds of thousands of people have been lying about this girl based on nothing. And the fact that so many people are willing to believe lies about her just because they were posted in a TikTok comment section has me very scared for the future of the internet where AI videos become more and more common. Because if this many people are willing to believe lies with no evidence, imagine how bad it's going to get when you can AI generate any evidence that you want to. If someone wants to tell a lie about you on the internet, they can just AI generate some evidence that makes that lie actually look like the truth. Guys, I think we just might be fucking cooked. In case you haven't heard, this young woman who goes by the username IRL Monster High Doll recently went super viral on TikTok because she claimed that she was banned from being a DoorDash driver, essentially fired from her job after she reported her own sexual assault.
Hey guys, so DoorDash just deactivated me 2 days after I reported my sexual assault.
So according to this girl, she felt like she was sexually assaulted because when she walked up to the door to deliver food to this customer, his door was wide open and he was right there lying on the couch with absolutely nothing below the waist. Just fucking Winnie the Poohing it in the middle of his living room.
2 days ago on October 12th, 2025, I was a victim of SA by a DoorDash customer while I was doing my job as a DoorDash driver, and I got it on video. The customer who committed a crime against me requested that their order be left at their front door, and when I arrived to their house, their front door was wide open. It was 59 degrees Fahrenheit. All of their lights were on, and they were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles.
When she first came out with her story, the public seemed to overwhelmingly take her side because they thought it was ridiculous that DoorDash would essentially fire someone just because they reported their own sexual assault. However, after about a day or two, public opinion started to drastically shift against this woman.
That DoorDash girl is the exact reason why this believe all victim shit is so hard to get behind.
First of all, people started to question how this man had sexually assaulted her if he was sleeping on his couch and hadn't come in direct contact with her. Generally, in order for something to be considered assault, it requires two people coming in contact with each other, or in some jurisdictions, the imminent threat of physical contact, and he clearly didn't come in contact with her, so people were mad at her for calling this sexual assault. I definitely agree that I don't think this situation would be classified as sexual assault, but I also understand that a lot of people don't really know the definitions of terms like sexual assault, and she probably was under the impression that sexual assault and sexual harassment are the same thing. And I do think that if this man did intentionally expose himself to her, this would qualify as sexual harassment. But I also think that if you're gonna accuse someone of something on the internet, you have a responsibility to make sure that you're using the correct terms to describe that thing. But of course, because people on the internet have no concept of nuance and situations either need to be completely black or white, instead of just politely correcting her and being like, hey, this would probably technically be classified as sexual harassment, not sexual assault, instead, the majority of people on TikTok have now decided that she was actually the perpetrator in this situation, and the man laying on his couch naked below the belt was actually her victim. The first reason they claim that he is actually her victim is because she decided to publicly dox him. In the first video that she posted, his door number is visible by the side of his door, and in the next video that she posted, she shares his first name and last initial.
This person's name is Austin, and their last initial is N. I reported this to DoorDash and the police, and DoorDash luckily banned the customer, but the police are doing nothing.
By sharing this dude's name and house number on TikTok, I definitely think it is possible that people could try to find this guy and maybe even try to show up at his house. I do think if you feel like someone sexually harassed you, there's nothing wrong with sharing his name to the internet, but I do think that sharing his house number was probably going too far. And also in the original video, she didn't like blur the video at all. The video is in low resolution, but when you zoom in, it's kind of debatable whether or not what you're looking at is his knee or his penis. Obviously, it's against the TikTok terms of service to post nudity on their platform, and you shouldn't be sharing nudity on TikTok because there are a bunch of kids on there. So while I understand her instinct to want to share this video to the internet to warn other women that this man might be doing the same thing to other delivery drivers, I definitely think she should have at least blurred his house number and his penis. To me, it seems like this woman was understandably upset because she felt like she was sexually harassed, and in this state of being upset, she wasn't careful to use the correct terms to describe the situation, and she wasn't careful to make sure to blur his house number and blur any nudity. And I think this is all worth criticizing, but I also believe in extending people some level of grace when they're in a stressful situation. I don't think it's always fair to expect people to be like perfect rational actors in a situation where they felt like they were just sexually harassed. After this, DoorDash responded, and according to them, the reason that they banned her from being a DoorDash driver was not because she reported sexual assault. The reason they decided to ban her from being a DoorDash driver is because sharing the personal information of a DoorDash customer goes against DoorDash's policy. We take reports of this nature with the utmost seriousness. We want to be absolutely clear. This Dasher was not deactivated for reporting a sexual assault. If a Dasher ever experiences something that makes them feel unsafe or uncomfortable, we urge them to please contact our support team immediately so we can help, as their safety and well-being matter deeply to us. At this time, publicly sharing videos taken inside a customer's home, especially when personal information is involved, raises privacy concerns and is a clear violation of our policies. In order to protect everyone's safety and privacy, we have deactivated both the Dashers and the customers' accounts and are working directly with law enforcement for additional guidance. So, I have mixed feelings about this statement from DoorDash. On the one hand, I obviously understand that DoorDash wants to protect the privacy of their customers. I'm sure that no one who orders DoorDash would feel comfortable with the possibility that maybe the person delivering their food could end up sharing their name and house number to the internet. And it is true that she violated DoorDash's policies. On their website, it says, misuse of personal information. Personal information is any information that can be used to identify a person. We define misuse of personal information as the use of personal information for any reason other than required to complete or receive a delivery, or any unauthorized disclosure of personal information. Under no circumstances should another user's personal information be shared publicly. Examples include posting a Dasher, customer, or merchant's name or address related to an order online. So I think it obviously makes sense why these policies are in place for the sake of customers' privacy, and I understand why DoorDash banned her for violating this policy, but I feel like it would make sense to have some sort of exception to this policy if you genuinely believe that someone committed a crime against you. I do think that it probably wasn't smart for her to post this video to TikTok, and she probably should have just shared the video with DoorDash and with the police, but according to her, the police weren't doing anything.
DoorDash luckily banned the customer, but the police are doing nothing.
And like, yes, DoorDash did delete this guy's account, but that's not really being like held accountable for his actions, because he could just go and download Uber Eats and then do this same thing to the delivery drivers on Uber Eats. So I can understand from this woman's perspective why, if she wants to help keep other women safe from this dude exposing himself to them, why she would want to post this video to TikTok instead of just sending it to DoorDash and the police. But, you know, the flip side to this is maybe this guy did just genuinely accidentally fall asleep and he wasn't intending to flash her, and now he has hundreds of thousands of people on TikTok coming to attack him over a genuine mistake. But my biggest question is, if that were the case, then why the hell is his door just wide open? I feel like if you leave your door wide open and then fall asleep on the couch with your dick out after ordering DoorDash, you still hold some amount of responsibility even if you weren't intentionally flashing this woman. I've seen some people defend him by saying, oh well, maybe he was drunk drunk, but being drunk obviously isn't a justification for bad behavior. That's why we make it illegal to drink and drive. And I've seen some other people say like maybe he accidentally left a crack in the door and then the wind swung the door open the rest of the way, and yeah, I guess that's possible. But I just feel like if this guy has his door wide open and he has his dick out in clear view of the doorway, to me, this feels intentional. I don't want to claim anything with absolute certainty, but it seems awfully convenient that he just happened to leave his door wide open and have his dick out after ordering DoorDash. And I think if someone is an exhibitionist who wants to get away with flashing women, they understand that they can give themselves some plausible deniability if they pretend to be asleep when they flash them. Approximately 30% of all apprehended male sex offenders are exhibitionists, so exhibitionism is an incredibly common paraphilia, and it is very common for men to expose themselves to women in order to satisfy this paraphilia. Again, I'm not claiming anything with 100% certainty, but come on, if you leave your door wide open with your dick out, I think you hold some level of responsibility for your actions, even if it was just negligent and wasn't intentional. Another line of attack I've seen people take against this woman is that he can do whatever he wants to do in the privacy of his own home, and she has no right to record him in the privacy of his own home. Well, let's find out what the law says about this. First, let's go through the laws around illegally recording someone in their own home, which is known as unlawful surveillance. Apparently, this girl is in New York, and in New York, the law states, a person is guilty of unlawful surveillance in the second degree when, for his own or her own or another person's amusement, entertainment, or profit, or for the purpose of degrading or abusing a person, he or she intentionally uses an imaging device to surreptitiously view, broadcast, or record a person dressing or undressing, or the sexual or other intimate parts of a person at a place and time when such person has a reasonable expectation of privacy. So according to this, it's illegal to record someone's dick and balls for the purpose of amusement, entertainment, profit, or for the purpose of abusing or degrading them. I don't think that recording someone because you're under the impression that they're exposing themselves to you would fall under any of these categories, and I don't think you have a reasonable expectation of privacy if you leave your door wide open with your dick and balls out and then order a delivery driver. So from my perspective, did she unlawfully surveil him? No. I'm sure some people on TikTok would say that she was trying to degrade and abuse him, but I don't think it's degrading or abusing someone if you record them because you're under the impression that they're trying to flash you. I think claiming that she abused him because she recorded him is just some weird ass Darvo shit. If she didn't genuinely believe that he was trying to flash her and so she just recorded him to make fun of him or to abuse him, that would obviously be bad. But from everything I've seen, it does seem like she genuinely believed that he was trying to flash her, so I think this line of argumentation is just really dumb. Her recording him was not her engaging in voyeurism, it was in response to her feeling like he was engaging in exhibitionism. Alright, now let's see if it really is okay to have your dick and balls out as long as you're in the privacy of your own home. I think whether or not this is legal falls under public lewdness, and New York's laws around public lewdness states, a person is guilty of public lewdness when he or she intentionally exposes the private or intimate parts of his or her body in a lewd manner in a public place or in private premises under circumstances in which he or she may readily be observed from either a public place or from other private premises and with intent that he or she be so observed. So from reading this, I think it's pretty clear that it's not okay to flash your dick and balls just because you're in your own home. You can't just stand naked in front of your window while people walk by on the sidewalk or drive past in their cars, and you can't have your dick and balls out with your door wide open if you order a delivery. Now, the law does state that it's only illegal if it's done intentionally, but this is exactly why a lot of exhibitionists will do things like pretend that they're asleep so they give themselves this level of plausible deniability of whether or not what they're doing is intentional. But anyway, it still is illegal and it still is public lewdness if you intentionally expose yourself to someone even if you're in your own home. Obviously, I am not a lawyer, but from my incredibly prestigious YouTuber legal analysis, I do not think that she committed unlawful surveillance, and I do think that he committed public lewdness if what he did was intentional. Now, you'd think that this is where this controversy ends. This girl accused him of sexual assault even though so technically what he did was probably actually sexual harassment, and he committed public lewdness unless what he did wasn't intentional. But to me, it does come across as intentional when your door is wide open. But of course this can't just be where this controversy ends. Instead, people on TikTok decided to just start making shit up about her.
Getting told to leave food at somebody's door, then seeing their door cracked open, pushing it open, and then seeing them laying on the couch doing shit in the privacy of their own home does not make you a victim of SA. Stop milking such a horrible, heinous fucking thing for views. It's very obvious what you're doing. And it's sickening. It really is fucking sickening to watch that shit. Yeah, the guy on the couch with his pants around his ankles with the door cracked open, a little fucking lunatic, but you pied the door. You pied the guy's front door and saw him when all you had to do was leave the food there.
So this fucking asshole decided to invent a new wrinkle to the story. According to him, when she walked up to the door, it was only cracked open just a little bit, and she decided to push the door open the rest of the way, and that's when she saw him naked.
But you pied the door. You pied the guy's front door.
This is straight up 100% a lie. There is no evidence that the door was only partially cracked open and she decided to open it the rest of the way. People just started claiming in TikTok comment sections that there's this mysterious video out there that she decided to delete where she admitted that the door was partially cracked open, but no one's been able to find it. I tried to search for this deleted video for a couple of hours and it just does not exist. This right here is the very first original video that she posted to TikTok. And if you zoom in, you can see that it very clearly states his front door wide open in 59 degrees Fahrenheit. From the very first video, she has always claimed that his door was wide open. I guess you can just choose to accuse her of lying about this based on nothing, but there is no evidence out there that shows that the door was cracked open and then she decided to open it the rest of the way. Except for this fake screenshot, which was obviously cropped to make it look like the door was cracked open when it was actually wide open. If you're gonna be a dickhead and lecture a woman about how wrong she is about sexual harassment, at least do the bare minimum of making sure that you get the details right. Maybe, I don't know, include a short clip of her admitting that the door was cracked open and then she pushed it open the rest of the way. But of course, expecting someone on TikTok to do basic editing and have basic journalistic integrity is expecting way too much.
You unknowingly recorded a man while he was unconscious in his own home. Indecent exposure at best. Stop milking that shit for views. You're awful.
Yeah, stop milking that shit. There's no way that she could have possibly posted this to TikTok because she wanted to help keep other women safe. No, the only reason she could have posted this to TikTok is because she's a dirty, attention-seeking whore who's trying to milk TikTok clout. And before someone decides to leave some stupid comment accusing me of only taking her side because she's a woman, the last TikTok controversy I talked about was Kendra, that crazy psychiatrist lady, and I absolutely did not take her side or believe all of her allegations just because she's a woman. I don't give a fuck about gender when it comes to analyzing these types of situations. If a woman decided to spread her clam on the couch for a delivery driver, I would be saying the same shit. But I also think that when people do analysis, their analysis is incomplete if they don't take societal bias into account while doing their analysis. And in society, we know that men tend to get away with doing creepy shit like exposing themselves, and women tend to have their experiences ignored and downplayed, and people make up lies about them and accuse them of only doing shit for attention.
Stop milking that shit for views. You're awful.
And I think refusing to acknowledge these truths just leads to bad analysis. So I don't talk about societal bias because I'm trying to come across as the most performative woke feminist. I talk about societal bias just because I care about wanting to be accurate. And I honestly do feel like one of the main reasons that people have turned against this woman as much as they have is because they just find her annoying.
They just punished me for posting about my sexual assault while door dashing. They just fired me, and the police are doing nothing. I lost my job, and that was my only way to make money to pay my bills.
Anytime someone comes onto the internet and screams into the camera like this always leads to people taking them less seriously.
This is a man's world. I'm the victim. Remember? I'm the the victim.
Because, we should expect everyone to be cool and calm and collected at all times, even in a situation where they just lost their job after feeling like someone sexually harassed them. And this angry face right here obviously makes for some good clickbait, and people know that they can get more attention if they use clickbait that makes her look crazy, which ironically creates a situation where people are trying to maximize attention by making her look as angry and crazy as possible, while simultaneously accusing her of only doing shit for attention. And again, just to be clear, I do think that she made multiple mistakes. I don't think she should have called this sexual assault. I don't think she should have posted nudity or his house number to TikTok. I think she should have made sure to go through all of the proper legal channels before talking about this on the internet. But I also understand that humans are emotional creatures who make mistakes when they're emotional, and I don't expect someone to make all of the most perfect rational choices in order for me to take their story seriously and believe that they could be a victim.
So I order DoorDash, go to sleep, half naked in my home. My instructions were to leave the food at my door. The Dasher delivers my food, sees my door's cracked, my screen is closed, then proceeds to walk into my home, where again I'm asleep, half naked, and they record me.
Wow, guys, now we've added even more details to the fictional version of what happened. Now, not only was the door cracked, but she also decided to open his closed screen door and take a step inside, which is trespassing. Except, none of this happened. In the original video, from the beginning, both the screen door and the outer door are wide open, and she never takes a step inside. And from the angle that she walks up onto the porch to deliver the food, he is clearly visible. It's not like she decided to stick her head in the door and crane her neck to the side and then she saw him naked. That just didn't happen. You are lying. Well, either you are lying or you just read some shit in a TikTok comment somewhere and then decided to regurgitate it without doing any research. Like I said at the beginning of the video, just imagine what's going to happen when AI videos start to get better and better. Once AI video gets good enough, someone could just generate a version of this video which starts with the door cracked open and then she opens the screen door and takes a step inside. And all it would take is one random person out of the hundreds of thousands of people watching these videos to create a fake video, and then everyone would believe it. People already believe what this dude is saying without any evidence, so just imagine how bad things are going to be once you can create fake evidence.
I am the victim! I am the victim!
I cannot express to you enough how much I believe that AI video is about to destroy the entire internet. Unless like every single AI developer on the planet decides to do something like insert some sort of uncrackable NFT into every single AI generated video that makes it extremely clear which videos are AI generated and which ones aren't. But with the way things are headed right now, the internet is just completely and totally fucked. I try to be level-headed and I try not to be a doomer when it comes to worrying about things like advancements in technology like AI, but I genuinely believe that AI video is the most existential threat the internet has ever faced. If every single government around the entire world doesn't get their shit together and come together to put some very serious regulations in place, I think the entire internet is fucked. But maybe it's good that the entire internet is fucked. Maybe once people can't believe anything anymore, this will cause people to put their phones down and go outside and touch grass. I don't know. I can't wait to potentially lose my job as a YouTuber because we as a society have decided that we just want to collectively siphon all of our wealth right into the hands of Sam Altman. Thanks, Sam. Anyway, just to quickly recap, I think we can all agree that this girl did make some mistakes. She definitely should have handled the situation differently in multiple ways, but I don't think that discredits the fact that she could still be a valid victim of sexual harassment. And I don't think just because you're mad at a woman on the internet because she used the term sexual assault instead of sexual harassment, that justifies making up a bunch of lies about her. And I hope people are aware enough to see what is happening here. This is just the latest example on the internet where a woman makes a mistake, and then in response to that mistake, millions of people decide to treat her like she's the fucking Antichrist. And I kinda doubt it, but I hope that in the future people won't just believe something because they read it in a TikTok comment or they saw some fake cropped screenshot. Because if people don't start holding themselves to a higher standard and having a higher standard when it comes to truth, then the entire internet is fucked. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, I just uploaded another video for members only and for my supporters on Patreon. I decided to give a more in-depth rant around my thoughts on AI in general. It's been really nice having an outlet to just rant about certain topics without needing as much structure to it. So if listening to me rant about AI sounds interesting to you, then consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a member for just $3 a month. And let me say an especially big thank you to my Godbeard level members Bebo, Bridget Brave, Scaries, Novaj Ren, Woods Witch, and Kelly Wright. And I will see you guys in the next one.